What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we're going to be talking about something that is a big issue if you make these mistakes early on, less so if you make them a little bit later on because you might have already invested in some stuff. But we're going to be talking about the season artifacts. We've mentioned this a few different times before the season started, at the beginning of the season. I got to talk about it again now because the resources are very tight and we're about to unlock even more artifacts, and there's certain ones you want to make sure you're focusing on. And I do feel like there's one big issue with this system. There's absolutely no way to regress them. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about these season artifacts. So I do feel like this is the most punishing system we still have in the game because, like I said at the beginning of this, there's really no way to reset anything. The one thing they did do very well is they allow us once a week to reset our faction talents, and then beyond that, if you want to do more, they give you these nice little talent reshapers. However, we don't have anything like that for artifacts, which I guess I can understand because eventually you're going to get them all the way up, but we still have 5 more that we have not even unlocked, and they're very similar to previous seasons. Once again, if my voice sounds off, I've been sick. Hopefully it's not too annoying in the video. I wanted to get this out. Make sure you guys saw this though, because I've taken the time and leveled up Tide Call and Resonating Spell, mainly because these two have felt like the most influential ones out there. And it really depends on how many resources you have, because once you get them to level 10, which you just spend gold getting them to level 10, we'll get Great Sword Spell, I think, in the next day or so. Well, no, we'll be getting Great Sword the beginning of next week. So yeah, just a couple days away. We're not too far off. And actually, I imagine we only go up to 2,000 points, so we might get Arcane Echo as well. So the fact that we might getting 2 more of these really doubles down on the fact that we need to make sure we're not spending too many resources too early on, because that's kind of a big pitfall. I kind of regret already upgrading Verdant Spell as far as I have, because again, it was the best one that was at the very early beginning, and then it kind of fell off. Granted, there are still some places, some of these artifacts are still going to be king and queen. If you take a look at the formations, everybody's using Verdant pretty much on this boss here, so it really depends on how much you invested into it, if it's going to be worthwhile for you or not. But overall, I will say, if you care about bossing, Tide Call Spell is probably going to be your best bet and safest bet to invest in. Why is that? Well, Tide Call Spell is essentially like Star Shard Spell 2.0, based on the number of times you have allies use ultimates, you do damage. It's very similar and reminiscent, and as it goes even higher, it'll deal even more damage when it gets to 25. When you get to level 20, which you might be able to get already, triggers after allies cast 4 ultimates instead of 5. This makes it a little bit better. Very similar, again, to Star Shard Spell. And the best part of it is it makes the target take 25% more damage and deal 30% less damage for 4 seconds. Now, if you can get this going constantly, and that's why we've seen some like Light Bearer, some Rowan strategies popping up, it might be really good. We just got to see how it plays out. Number 2, Resonating Spell has been one of the really good ones as well. Resonating Spell is, again, kind of like in Lightning Spell 2.0. Not quite. It's very similar. It does also have some energy feed situations going to that hero. They're getting, increased attack. They gain immunity. All these fun things. This is a really good one to go for, too. Verdant Spell, like I said, is kind of like a safe overall good one. It reminds me of the oh geez, I forget the name of it already. I think it was like Resonating Spell in Song of Strife season. It just gives some really good stats to a lot of different classes, which is really good. I think it's a safe one to go for if you really don't know. The ones to stay away from, obviously, are Swift Heal and, of course, Binding Spell right now. Binding Spell is like a 2.0 of Confining Spell, but it almost feels like worse, technically. We'll have to see how that plays out. Now, once Great Sword Spell comes out, this one might be one of your priorities to take to plus 20 as soon as possible, because, again, this is one of those that, if you can get it to plus 20, is going to take that 40% defense physical reduction up to 50. This means Lenya teams might have even more potential to pop off more, because we're having more physical defense ripping. That could be absolutely insane. Whether it's going to be better than Tide Call's 25% more damage, I don't know. We will have to see. And then I think the other one is Arcane Spell that's coming out next week, potentially. Whenever allies magic damage dealt reaches a certain amount, it's going to fire projectiles, each dealing damage to the frontmost enemy. So this one feels a lot like the Kamehameha, or the Spirit Bomb from last Song of Strife season. The bonus here is that it also reduces the target's magic defense. This one might become the go-to in a couple days if this does come with next week's unlock phase. This one might become the next big thing for the Primal Lord over the additional 25% damage. It really just depends on how this 50% damage reduction on magic damage reduction really adds up. We'll have to see. Not really sure. Plus, of course, it's dealing extra damage. But the big thing here is do not over invest in any of these other ones because they take different tiers. So number one, artifact shard. This takes any artifact from 11 to 15. Once you get up to 16, you then have to use memento shards. And then once you technically get up to, I think it's right here, you have to go to another higher tier, which we do have some saved up, oblivion shards. These are going to take them from level 21 to 25. Whether there's a fourth tier even further up, I have not a clue, but these resources are very important because the only way you're really getting them is going to be from Legend Trial. So you really need to pay attention, get some really good progression here. We now have Graveborn talent, so I should be able to make some decent progress here, but you can see along the way there, every single stage is essentially going to generate you some resources. So if I just chuck a team in really quickly here, let's see what I can do. I'm going to put a Carolina in here. Cessia in here. Heck, we'll put you in here as well just to grab someone. I'll show you guys what you're expecting to get. We're on floor 58 right now. Pretty easy for the power level of my account because I haven't done any pushing here today at all. So this should be pretty simple for us, but you'll see at the end of this, when we're at 58, we're going to get both the artifact shard and the memento shard. Now, if we go up to, I think 60 is the break point here. I think if we can get a couple floors cleared, that's when you start getting the third tier of them. I don't think it's further because I've already gotten some of them. So if we go to 59, we should be getting essentially the same rewards. Of course, occasionally you get some bonus ones instead, which, I mean, it feels good to get essence. Essence is always needed, but when you're trying to prioritize your artifacts, it can feel a little bad. But let's see what the rewards on floor 60. I'm pretty sure 60 is the floor where we start getting the next tier up. Or 61. No. Looks like it does require us a little bit further up than 60. It might be it might be the couple floors higher because it looks like this is the lowest one we have right here. So maybe 61 is the break point to get it up to the next tier. Let's see what this looks like. I love Nara in this situation where she just keeps pulling enemies to her. It's so satisfying just continuing to rip the enemy to your side of the battlefield. So let's see. Does 61 give us the next one up? It does. So once you get to 61 is when you're going to start accumulating those oblivion shards. So pushing Legend Trial for artifacts is absolutely important. I don't know if AFK rewards actually generate any. I don't think they do. At least I haven't seen it. But again, I really wish one thing they did do in this game was just give away to regret, like give even just like once a week. Let us reset these. Let us change up the priority because kind of like Verdant Spell. Like I almost don't want to do it. Granted, you can unlock everything to level 10 pretty easily, but even further down the road, we have more of them coming. Thunderclap, cast 1 or 2 of the following spells every 3 seconds. You're either going to deal red lightning or blue lightning damage to them. This seems like one of those purely damage dealing ones. I don't know if it'll be any good. Frontline spell sounds like the one where it's like, you know, the frontmost ally is going to get a shield. When 3 different allies enter the enemy side of the battlefield, they get inspiration, giving themselves damage taken reduction and such, which I guess could help with pushing. But again, a lot of these we prioritize bossing as the most important ones. And then lastly, Valor Shield. Whenever the battle starts, grant shield equal to 100% of the team's attack to the frontmost and rearmost allies. So it's really going to come down to, I think, Great Sword and Tide Call are going to be the go-to. However, Arcane and Resonating still might have a future. We'll just have to see. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys haven't made too many mistakes and leveled a bunch of these up to like the mid tier just yet. Because again, once this one unlocks, remember, we're going to need a bunch of these artifact shards and we're going to need a bunch of these memento shards to try to rush them right to 20 and get better boss damage. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. See you guys next time.